Hey, hello everyone. Very good evening to all of you. And today being the 16th November 2022, I'm so happy to see you all again on this wonderful evening. So today we have with us Shubhashri, we have Chandralekha, we have Hamsa, we have Madhvi, we have Madhuri. Hello Maitri, we have Ranjini, Shweta, Sumita, Sunita, and Supriya. So many students from the letter S. Kudos to you. Thank you so much for joining in on time. We have some more participants who are joining us. Okay. So in this particular segment, what we are going to be talking, we would have certain issues. We would also be talking about the roles and responsibilities of so-called teachers and headmasters. How many of you are already a teacher? Most of you? How many of you consider yourself as a teacher? Come on now, you need to role play. You've joined this session, so you need to consider yourself as a teacher. And whenever you're ready, I want you to keep your videos on. So that's how I can connect. Don't worry about your background. That's absolutely okay. But let me take a look at you. I'll get the energy. It's evening, guys. Come on, you need to understand, right? So in that particular case, what we need to be working is like, we need to also understand the role of a teacher. The responsibility of a teacher is also important, right? So roles and responsibilities are two different categories. We all agree on that. I have a role, you have a role, you have a particular responsibility. I do have a particular responsibility, right? So in that particular case, when I'm talking about the functions of a teacher or a headmaster in this entire education system, so what is the important thing? So we always consider, right, in our ancient ages, so we used to consider the guru as what? The image of a Brahma, right? Because they know everything. It's like Gyan Bandar. So we used to call the teacher like that, right? And we need to, we were like, respecting the teachers in such a way that, and we used to also offer prayers to the teachers because we were considering him as the Lord Brahma. So this was according to the Indian, belief system that we had. But anciently, I'm not sure about the others. So we used to always work and on that particular way, right? So as the progress of civilization happened, but even though we always have believed that, is it easy in case if we don't do this lesson and everybody are educated over here, you all have your books with you, can you still do it? We all understand we can all do a self study and self learning, everything happens. But how many of you all think it could be 100% justice? Maybe we do 80% of our effort. Maybe that 20% of push has to come from me, probably, because we sit down every day, we do those lessons, and there is some kind of a motivation factor, or there's some kind of a force that is actually controlling all of us to come down for this 4 o'clock. Otherwise, we would have taken a nap, or we would have got busy with our household chores or your office work, right? Agree on that particular thing? You're with me on that? Yes. So this is very important. See, the first and foremost important function of a teacher is like, without a good teacher, even if you have the best of the system or you have the best of the resources, everything goes, it doesn't go very well. So I could say it could be considered as a failure. Now, what if you had the worst system? What if you had the worst system, but you had the best teacher? There are no resources in your school, but your teacher is a gifted lady or a man, that he is there with you. But what do you still think? Can we still make up that difference? I can see a bright smile on Supriya. Yeah, Supriya? You agree on that? Yes,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
even at the worst system, even when there are no resources, even when there are certain things which is actually lagging in this entire system, if you have a good teacher, you can largely overcome the worst of the system. You agree on that? Now, how do you possess such qualities? So you should have some quality. Every teacher should have a quality. Now, what could be the quality?
And patience.
Patience,
Patience.
yes. Patience, I could say it is one
Hard
of
work.
your inbuilt.
Hard
uh,
work. Yeah.
Hardworking, yes, I could say. How many of you all want to hard work? Come on, tell me. Be honest. You want to hard work or you want to work smartly?
Smart. Smart work.
Smart work. And you cannot work smart if you wouldn't have worked hard before. Through multiple hard works itself, you became smarter. You got to understand different principles. You got to understand which way is much more better for all of us, right? So it's easy for all of us to say, okay, let's work smart. But do you think it becomes easier when you go to a class of a 3 year or a 4 year? To the outside world, they're just children. But the teachers understand, let me not put it in a wrong way, but they are the little dinosaurs. Is it not that difficult for all of us to handle? Right? So it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of what I could say that enthusiasm in every teacher, that you need to have this quality of being you as a teacher first. You need to consider yourself itself like I am going to give some kind of an experience to my children. It's not that how many years of experience you have. No. What is that experience that you gave it to the class? Was your class joyful today when they were learning? You gave some experience to your class, right? So that is the first qualification that you need to have, is qualification of experience. That doesn't mean that you are 5 years experience, 20 years experience, it doesn't matter. But when you are in that particular moment in your class, does your children come and hug you? Does your children listen to you, first of all? Do you have that controlling ability of your class? That is all the while required for all of us. Now, the second important thing that I could say is like, you need to have some requirements. Now, this is on your professional front. Now, to get into this teaching profession or into a particular class, you need to definitely have some kind of a professional requirement. Maybe you need to be a B.Ed graduate, or you need to have your master's in education, or you do your some kind of a research paper analysis on your early childhood development, or you take up a training course like this Montessori education or an NTT. There are many number of professional courses, occasional courses, many of them are available. Now you need to also choose a program which is qualitative, not quantitative. It has to have a quality education which is going to uphold your requirements. So this is also required for a teacher. You need to also have those requirements because you're standing in front of the others. What's the third thing that you need to have? A great personality, not about your looks. Your personality has to come within you. How confident are you? Your personality is not about how you dress, but how confident are you when you're dressed in something even the least expected one? What is your language that you're actually using? Even in the worst situation, what is your vocabulary that you're actually building up? Now, those are certain things which will directly relate or pertain to your personality also. People fall for such kind of teachers. Even if the child is not writing, the teacher goes and tells, you can do it. I'm there to help you, right? And that is the confidence that it builds up. And that's the personality that you're actually showcasing. When the child goes back, they'll say, my teacher said that I can do it, so I will do it. What kind of relationships that you have with others? Maybe what kind of a relation Sumita shares with Madhvi? Maybe they're good colleagues. Maybe they're good rivals when it comes to class assemblies, right? They don't want to share information. That's absolutely good enough. So, what kind of a relationship that you have with your fellow colleague, with your students, with your parent community, this is very important. You need to have the same kind of relationship with others. Now, do we do politics over there? Some kind of favoritism? Sometimes does, yes, it does happen. So, there are some favorite teachers. They do come into limelight because they're always there. And some teachers might not be known because they don't want to come in front, just like our students over here, right? So many of them are on camera. So probably I will be calling out their names, but some of them want to hide their faces. So I don't know why. Why you don't want to on your cameras? We don't know. Because they don't want to get that attention. They don't want me to see what they are doing. We definitely have some teachers like that. They don't want to showcase what they have it inside of theirs. But still they're keeping their videos on. So that means we could understand, how serious everything is. Right? So Smriti, thank you so much for quickly owning the video and turning it on. So I hope, see, I would love to connect with all of you. The moment that I see everybody is responding, that's when I get an understanding. Leka, I understand she's in school, so I don't want to disturb her. But if she's
Thank you,
comfortable,
ma'am.
yes. Maitri, I want to keep your video on. Okay, if your child is sick, it's okay. Turn your camera to the other side. Yes, Shweta, thank you very much. See, what happens is when your videos are on, you get to know that I'm watching you. I'm putting this on record this time because anytime that you would revisit, it would definitely be helpful. So each time that we see each other, look at your friends, put your screen into a gallery mode. See how each one is responding. Nobody is sleeping. Everybody is making notes. Everybody is making notes. The moment somebody is writing it down, maybe it can trigger you, and you might also start writing that notes. right? It's very, very important. When we are conscious about that somebody is watching us, we do better. We do better and better. So this is one of the quality that a teacher should have. You need to showcase yourself, your skills, your talent. Okay, so this is where you have to, wherever there's an opportunity, you need to show yourself. You don't have to go back. Okay, so that's important. And coming down to having the functions of a headmaster, I think we have discussed enough about it, because it's more about managing, controlling, allocating the resources very well, working on the financials, working on the budgets, and working on reporting, sanctioning the leaves and many things. So those would definitely be the functions of a headmaster, so I don't want to go repeat too many things on it. But apart from these roles, whatever we actually saw for a teacher, what is the most important and the primary one? Because you're a teacher, your first primary responsibility is teaching. That becomes your main duty, right? Irrespective of whether you're sick, whether you're not sick, sometimes we make an effort, right? So today I've got a viral fever from past 4 days, but I still make an effort of coming down to the classes and do something for my students, because we cannot miss out the classes. There's so many of them like that. Whatever could be the best possible thing that they want to do it, they would do it in case if they have that potential to do it. If your body is not helping, that's a different story altogether. But if you're able to contribute that little time, you can definitely work on it, because your primary responsibility is teaching. I'm not saying if you're sick you come to the class and teach. I'm saying whichever way, it could be formally or informally, or however that you want to help the child in a classroom situation, you actually do that. Now, what could be my next responsibility as a teacher is organizing things. Now, what all do I organize? Every day classroom you keep organizing, right? The worksheets you keep here, the books you keep here, the first period lessons you keep here. So each day your classroom is being organized, because you need to properly function for tomorrow, and that functioning would happen on based upon your tt, your timetable, right? So what happens here is like, this functioning of a teacher is not alone, because anytime your headmaster or a principal can come down and check whether this teacher is organized or not. Is she conducting the lessons properly or not? Or is she organizing the co-curricular activities? Are her class assemblies happening or not? Or if there is a school function, is the teacher organized very well? Maybe the dance moves are perfect, or what kind of a responsibility that the children should be given so that they can take part in that cultural events. So this is all for co-curricular and curricular. Now, every time you do that, the teacher is not sitting idle, right? The teacher itself is like, working with different kinds of roles actually. She's teaching, she's organizing, she's supervising too. So that means she has such great ability. She has that great capacity to work, not only what is expected, but beyond that sometimes, right? So what I could supervise? Has the child come to school? Is the child sick when he has come to school? Or why is the child very moody today in the class? Maybe his health is not okay. The teacher is supervising on not only on the academic part, but overall on his health. It could be day-to-day work, it could be homeworks. We keep a track on the homeworks also, right? We keep a track on with the motor skills, like in case if you're working on a pt session, we see how well that the children can be able to work on. If there's an art lesson, what could be the other one? How is the child coloring? Now this child will have to apply this pressure in a particular coloring page. Maybe you work on that particular thing. So those would be some of the areas that the teacher will also be working on. You conduct a lot of exams. I get to see a lot of examination sheets on my desk every month, because you want to give an exam. Why do you want to give an exam? Is it mandatory? You should not be giving exams to the younger children actually, according to the policy and other thing, but still some of the teachers do take these exams. Now why do you conduct these exams? Is only to evaluate whether the child has learned what you have taught, right? Because your job doesn't end there. You have taught, you have delivered a particular topic, and then you will move on to the next page. Your job never stops over there. You all agree on that, right? Because the knowledge that you had, you shared it. And the satisfaction comes only when the children are giving back in the same response. You all agree on that? If you agree, one hand. If you strongly agree, two hands. Okay, so we keep ourselves busy. Okay, so you agree on that, you strongly agree. So I get graph how exactly it's going. So evaluations, again, sometimes you give verbal evaluation. How many of you all give verbal evaluation? Your child is doing very good, he's very good in academics and other things. But how many of you all give a written statement? Many of the schools do give writing. In writing, you have, that's why you have term one sheet, term two sheets, and other things. You enter physical marks and grades and comments about every subject. Every respected teacher is actually going to evaluate those learnings and they would be putting it. Right? Is it important that we need to have it? Is it an important duty? Is it our duty? Yes, it's our duty. Is it our primary duty? How many of you will agree it's a primary duty? Definitely, it's our primary duty, right? Evaluation for a child, because what happens here is like schools do look at evaluation in two perspectives. One is a summative assessment, one is a formative assessment. Now, when we talk about summative assessments, you see right from day one. How was the child day one? How is the child day one, day 10? How is the child on day 30? How is the child on day 100? If you see a gradual goodness in the curve, so that means that the child is doing amazingly very well. So did he do something better in on 100 day and not on the first day? No, the child has done to the fullest ability on day one according to him. Day two, he has done the fullest ability, but the comparison is always with the teacher's expectation. The teacher wants the child to write like her. Beta, A is not like this, you have to write A like this, and the child might just put a circle and they might say this is letter A, ma'am. For him, that is how it looks like. But the teacher's expectation is like, you got to write like me. I have taught you this particular way. So your evaluations are always a continuous struggle because it's very, very important. I don't say this as a drawback because it has to be given because you have to get satisfied end of the day. I've been doing this in my class and my children are learning. So when you evaluate every child on all many parameters, the first important goodness that you would have for your own self is the satisfaction. You agree on that? Even a hectic day, when you see your children doing something, you can nicely have a good nap, right? Or you, all your whatever that tiredness that you had, you will regain back your energy. That is something which is important in evaluating. Now, what is recording? You record the marks, you record attendance, you record everything. Now, what could be the other things of recording? What else can we record? If any child has won any award, we record that. Oh, my class got so many rewards and recognitions. This child participated in such and such a competition, and it was an inter-class, it was an inter-school. So you keep recording. And when you write your final log about that child, you actually make all these important points. And in case if your child is a like a class monitor, or in case if he has excelled with many other things, those are important things that you need to record. You cannot leave that. Now, see, for example, if Sumita is my class head girl, I cannot leave that in my recording. Whenever I would like to tell something about Sumita, I would say Sumita represented this academic year as a school head girl, and she had participated in so many competitions, and she had actually won state level championships, and she entered through different competitions and gained so many things. So whatever is highlighting for that child, you need to record them first. So whenever you make your portfolios on children, definitely you need to have this, because the child has given so much, right? You cannot go missing out on those particular points when you're recording. Now, your guidance is important, and without you, nothing happens. So, all that we need to have is your good guidance every time. That's the reason I've put it a little bit more in a higher font. So teaching, organizing, supervising, examining, evaluating, recording is important. But teacher is a sort of guide. Even your book says about it. Guidance is very, very important because for all the students, what it matters is there is somebody who's actually looking after me. There is somebody who's caring about me. There is someone who takes care of me. There is somebody who's acting as my mother, as my father, as my brother. Or they're showing me so much of love when I come outside my home. Because children do have that kind of a anxiety when they step out of their home, like, will I be safe in this environment? Will this lady take care of me very well, right? So when you give that confidence to children, what happens there is like your path becomes very, very smoother, and even the children's path becomes very good enough. So every student will seek what? Guidance. And only a proper guidance is required for a student. Now, what are the other things for that? So if you want to guide better, you need to take up trainings. You need to keep yourself upgraded with different kinds of latest methodologies. You need to have an insight and knowledge about every student. In case of the child is hyperactive, you got to learn lots and lots of materials on why is the child hyperactive, what can make the child hyperactive. Now, can I have any other situations? Now, how do I work with such a child? What could be the curriculum changes that I can make and help him? Right? So, those would be an extra personal guidance that you would give it for the child. Say, we are trying to help a child. I'm not saying, they pay money and then you work with that. No, it's not regarding that. It's about when you are a teacher, when you have a class set, you will guide our children. Be it whichever way it is, there is something called as a curriculum guidance. There is something which is related to personal guidance. Now, in personal guidance is where you will give that extra tips, suggestions. Do this, maybe you will start learning. Do this, maybe it helps you to write better. Do this practice, do this handwriting. So many teachers in my school, they actually ask the parents to give extra books, because in case if they're not writing, if they're not practicing, or if they have any difficulty, if the teacher is saying they're writing at home, I don't know what magic that the teacher can do, which a parent cannot do, right? How many of you all felt that? How many of your parents have come and told you, ma'am, if you are saying, Sumita strongly agrees. So she says, like, so if you are saying my child is writing, but if I'm saying my child doesn't do, I somehow don't agree with this particular concept. Why does a teacher's words are so meaningful is because the teacher is very firm, and she always encourages, she always motivates, and she trusts the child when they are doing something, and she believes in them. Sometimes when these things are missing in a parent, the child might not listen to you. The child might have difficulty in understanding what you're trying to say. So if a parent is also equally capable, being firm, being encourageable, being supportive, and guiding them in the proper way, definitely why will the child not listen to the parent? Because they're spending more time with them, right? So this is something that you can also clarify. You can also talk when you have your one-to-ones or your personal meetings with the parents. You can always have these discussions, okay? So guidance is very, very important for a teacher to give it to a child. Now, having a healthy relationships, this is very important. One is like you can have a relationship with communities. You can have with the student community. It is very important. You need to regularly meet parents. Okay. Now, why do we meet parents? Because in case if your child is lagging in something, you need to immediately talk to the parent, because it can solve many problems. So you don't have to hold back for months together. Now, say if your meeting is scheduled after 3 months, and if you're finding that the child has an issue, you don't have to wait for 3 months. You can immediately call up the parent and you can actually ask them, because this is going to help the child and the parent better. So this is your first duty on hand, okay, to have a good healthy relationship with the parent. Now, what if it would have been nice, like say if Hamsa is one of my students' parent, and before Hamsa joins her son or daughter to my school itself, okay, I have a communication with her, and then Hamsa joins the child to the school, and immediately I get to know that the child has been in my class. What should be my first responsibility to do? I can call her up, or I can write an email saying that I'm her class teacher, and you can reach me for any kind of an help that you actually needed, and I would love to hear about your son or daughter, right? So it's my primary responsibility to know about a child from the parent directly. Now, the parent might, Hamsa now might say, he's 3 years old, ma'am, he's very active, and he does this, he knows these particular rhymes, he loves playing with soft toys and other things. But when the child comes into the class, you can always tell to Hamsa that you can invite the child to the classes or to your play zones, and you can ask her to click some photographs. And they can go back home. You can show those photographs, because now the child is aware about those premises. The child is aware about you, because the mother or the father is constantly showing those images. They'll say that, you're going to this particular school and she's going to be your teacher. And regularly, in case if you have those conversations at the initial days, what happens there is like you already had a good relationship between your child, sorry, the student, and the parent. Now, maybe after a month, there is something which is actually pressing. Maybe the child is not responding very well, or maybe the child is not doing very well in academics or co curricular, anything which you need to communicate to the parent. The conversations that you both would have becomes much more easier. It becomes really more easier because it becomes lot more of, like a friendly discussion, because both of you are wanting and talking about the wellness of that particular child, right? So that's the reason it's very essential. Now, do not forget, when I'm talking about relationships, it has to be restricted towards certain things. It should be restricted towards your duties. I am organizing an event, my class assembly, and I want your son or daughter to be participating in a particular thing, and I would be supervising him, and I would be taking care about these particular lines, and I am guiding your child. I want your help on that. So these would have to be your phrases. These has to be the way that you carry your expectations. So you're already there, but there's some kind of an expectation that you want to do that. Fair enough? Yes, your discussions, the way that you work on the establishments of parental relationships has to be on those parameters: how you organize, how you supervise, how you examine, how you evaluate. So we go back on a reverse order. All your discussions has to be on these only. Okay, no personal talks when you're trying to have a discussion with the parents. So this is something that you have to remember. So these are the functions of a teacher. Clear, everyone? Clear? So you can take a screenshot of this slide. So the moment you see this, you should know what are the functions of a teacher. She has to teach, she has to organize, supervise, examine, evaluate, record, guide, and establish relationships. Now, when whatever way the question needs is given, you can answer according to it in your own ways. But keep up these bullet points to remember, and we work on it. Okay, the next thing for the school administrative part is timetable. Okay, so I want all of you, I'll give you 5 minutes of time. Okay, I want you to write a sample timetable from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. 9 to 12, 3 hours of uninterrupted time. I want you to write a timetable. Just write for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 5 days. Maybe you keep whichever period, 40 minutes an hour period or a 1 hour period. It's up to you. I'm going to be pausing the video over here. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. And then I want you to write a timetable and share it in the group. Put it into our group. Take a screenshot and put it into our group. We'll discuss on our timetable. Yes, so this is the timetable that Madhvi has given it to us. And let me take a look through it. Okay. Okay, so she's kept a 1 hour exercise or a 1 hour of a class. And she says, like Mondays, she would do a circle time. 10 to 11, she'll do a group activity. 11:15 to 12 o'clock, she will do phonetic lesson. And Tuesdays is literacy, then art and craft, then rhymes, then circle time, material work, phonetic program. Then Thursdays, she will do numeracy, group activity, and literacy. Friday, she'll do circle time, material work, and numeracy. So, did you see that there is a balance of
Ma'am,
something?
in circle time, EVS will be covered, ma'am.
Okay, in circle time, you're planning to do your EVS, is it? Okay, that's wonderful. Okay. Do you want to share a little bit more about group activity? What do you do it in group activity?
Uh, any related topic about community helpers means we'll go with we'll show the cards and we'll what it mean by we'll explain that
Okay.
different topics we'll take and
Uh-huh.
about pollution and we'll take some common topic and we'll explain on that.
Okay. Okay. That's amazing. Okay. So anything that is common that you'll have more discussion. See, what I wanted to, have you noticed over here is like, did you see there's a balance of activities? There's not too many things. but still there is a balance. Like circle time, she said she will continue with EVS portion. So you can have a 5 minutes sing along, and then you can have a EVS topic that you would like to discuss in the mornings itself, because children can talk about fruits, children can talk about healthy eating. So you discuss more about fruits and vegetables as soon as you come over. And then you can also talk about good habits and good manners in the circle time itself. So that will also come over just like that. Right. And group activity, it is very essential because something you need to have it, right? And what do you mean by literacy and how different it is from phonetic program? So phonic is where you read and write.
For year 4 years old, they need to write A, B, C, D, and letters. No, ma'am. We'll teach that in literacy, and phonetics separately will teach.
Okay, what will you teach in phonetics period?
Uh, like phonetics means group wise. You thought, no, ma'am. That way we'll go slowly,
Okay,
and
so you
we'll.
want to okay, you want to go with your some kind of a sing along or story time and other things. And literacy work is where the child can actually sit down, and they do it in paper. Okay, so they write with the paper, and phonetic period she's actually put wherein they would do some kind of a hands-on exercises. So what I appreciated what Madhvi did was, like, so she did not have too many periods. So it is like her planning for a day becomes very less. And when you are a mother teacher, okay, when you are a mother teacher, you might be handling all the subjects all by yourself, right? So we will not have a circle time teacher, you will not have a group activity teacher, you will not have a rhymes teacher who comes and does it. So you need to be managing. So what happens, the planning becomes easier for you if you have less number of activities each day. So 3 periods, but you go in depth about it. Now the other thing, guys, what we need to work over here is, like, did you notice that there is a balance? Maybe 3 circle times, 2 materials, 2 phonetic programs, 2 days of rhymes, 2 days of numeracy, 2 days of group activity, 1 day of art and craft, right? So art and craft and rhymes is only one day, but others she has managed it to have it 2 days. So there's some kind of a balance which is actually there in the timetable is what we have actually seen. So let's take a look at the others. So we have the next student who has given us this is Ranjini. So Ranjini says Monday she will start with circle time, writing, story, coloring, circle time, writing, story, coloring, circle time, evaluating, orally she'll ask questions, storytelling and coloring, and circle time, writing, math, and story and coloring. So circle time, different objects, different colors and other things. What we have observed over here is, like, the day is being divided into 4 periods. Maybe it's a 40 minutes or it's a 1 hour period that she has it. And it is easy for the students to actually remember. But did you see that we are not able to give a lot of what I could say is, like, so subject knowledge on that thing. So we need to work on 11 p.m. and 12 p.m. See, coloring, you don't need 1 hour, right, to color. So you can actually work on that. Storytelling, you can probably put sometimes in the circle time itself, you can include a story. So you don't have to have a separate story time. So rather than that, you can have some kind of an activity time, or you can give them something which is related to more of a learning on phonetic sounds. It could be another things. Okay, so we have to rework on this pattern of 11 and 12 and 9 o'clock. Ranjini, just look into that. So next, I think it's tilted. Whose is this? It's
Ma'am, me. Ma'am,
Smita's.
I guess Smita. I'll stand
Yes,
again, ma'am.
yes, yes. No, let
Should
me
I
let
stand?
me turn. No, no, no.
Okay.
You will rotate it and send it again. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll
yeah,
be
that's
better.
fine.
That'll be better. Thank you. Whoever sent it this way, please rotate it and resend it. Shubha, you also please resend it again. Take a picture this way. Did you, Sumita?
Yes, ma'am, I have sent.
Okay. So this is what Sumita's is. So let me share it with all of you. Okay, so we can see Sumita is a very organized person. You all can say that. We all can say that she's an organized person. How? Because even at the less time, look at the lines, the usage of the scale and other things. So this is something which is very important. Even if you do not have time, whatever the notes that you actually make it fair. When the moment that you're doing itself, make it fair. It need not be beautiful writing, it need not be artistic, but whatever you're doing, let it be legible so people can understand. So the usage of the lines and other things, it's a rough copy, but still it looks amazingly very well. So this is something as a teacher we need to have. So we need to work on our speed, we need to work also on our presentation. So here is where you have multiple things. Like if you see, your day has been broken into 5 periods. You saw the transformation. So we had 3 periods, we had 4 periods, and now we are going back to a day of 5 periods. Like Madhvi's was a 3 period day. Then we had Ranjini's was a 4 period day, and Sumita's we have a 5 period day. So every teacher, we want to have it in a different way. This timetable shows up. So you're going to keep circle time from morning 20 minutes, and then do you do your EVS because it can connect with your circle time. Absolutely correct. Because many of the schools do circle time and EVS together, or circle time and language together, because they correlate with the vocabulary, they correlate with your daily tasks. And then you have a small short break, and then you can have your English or your fun play or whatever could be the discussions of the recap. Now recap is very important. This is something that all of us we have to do, must and should do. So let's hear a big round of applause for Sumita, because I was looking at this particular module. End of the day, you have to at least spend 10 minutes of time before you say goodbye to your children, because as soon as the child goes back home, the first question that the parent will ask is, what did you do today? How many of you all agree on this? Strongly agree, greatly agree, whatever. My video is not seen, no? Can you see me?
Yes, ma'am. We can see you.
You can
Yes,
see?
ma'am.
Okay, good light. Okay. So here is where what happens here is like we will not be able to sorry. The first thing that many of us ask us a question is like, what did you do for today? And now Sumita said, yes, there is a recap session. So that means the child got a glimpse. So you don't have to read everything. You can say, children, we did this rhyme, we did this story, we did addition, we learned it with this methodology, and then now we are going back home. Okay, so three important things, three important bullet points you can actually share. So this is wonderful. So in case if you have missed it, please try to include at least 10 minutes into your recap. Okay, so this is required for all of us for the recap sessions. And then you can plan it up. Your math, your art, everything is now, if you see, you have your value education also, because you need to also have, some of them put it under storytelling itself, but if you have put it separately, it's absolutely good enough. So I see 2 math period, then I see more English periods. Yeah, so there is a discussion period also. So good enough. So this is fair enough to do that. And again, Shubha, again, you have clicked the photo in the same way. Please rotate it and send, bacha. Okay, so here we have
Ma'am, I have sent
Chandralekha. Yeah, Chandralekha. Oh, she
for
sent a
1 day.
full day schooling. Okay, she sent for a school day schooling. And yeah, prayer, assembly, circle time, snacks, you trace a letter, you write something, you learn numbers, you take a break, then you have a story, then you go to a play park, then you have some snacks and you go back home. This is absolutely good. Especially in case if you're working on a full day schooling, you need to have at least multiple breaks. A snack break, especially, that's required. Then you need to have a lunch break, again another snack break, that's important. And between each of your periods also, it can't have the same periods. Now if you see in her timetable, she has writing, and then she has learning something else, and then there is story, and then there is a play work. Absolutely good enough. Okay, so this is a right combination of having the learning, and at the same time you're giving some kind of a fun, and at the same time you're also filling the nutrition to the child so that they get recharged again, right? That's also important. You need to give them the right breaks for eating and other things. So that's absolutely good. So moving back to the next one, let's see the next timetable. Whom we have is So this is Smriti's. Smriti will start with the playtime and then she has, uh, yeah. So she'll do the letters and then she'll do story and then she'll give a break and then she does art and craft. Now, if you see, this might be for a lower class because it's more of picture reading, picture recitation, picture learning is what I can see. Did you all see this difference in Smriti's? If you see here, there's only coloring, there's rhymes, there's art, there's flashcards, there's picture dictionary, right? So whenever you see timetables like this, probably this teacher is involved with a smaller group. Okay, so they are working with the younger children who needs more play, who needs more of motor developmental skills and things like that. So fair enough. So each teacher's timetable, the way of working is different. So we get a glimpse of it. Now we have this from Maitre. So Maitre's section starts from 9 to 9:15 is circle time, circle time, circle time. Every day she keeps in the morning 15 minutes and then she goes with the EVS, very nice. And then a snack break, a library, an art, computer, English, music, and math. Okay. So, yeah, you can have all of that. But I would prefer, in case if you have any difficult subject like English or something, to do it in the morning sessions. Okay. So, Maitre, this is like, I don't know, but I leave it up to you. But one small suggestion to do language and math is in the early mornings. At least 1 or 2 periods you can do it early in the mornings. Okay. So
Ma'am, we are following in grade one, same exactly like this.
yes, that's absolutely okay. See, I'm saying is like in case if you're okay with doing it in the morning, you can always do 1 or 2 sessions swapping because it's the same teacher, right? So you can always swap depending upon what your child likes it. And many of us we follow EVS in the first period because it correlates with our circle time, our day-to-day lessons and things like that. Okay. So yeah. So that's one. Going back, who else has submitted? One second. My system. Let me see Supriya's. Can you see Supriya's, everyone? Yes. Supriya's got till 12 o'clock. So she'll have circle time, sensorial, EPL, language. She'll do games and then she'll do math, a craft, sensorial, a rhyme. Yes. Now what you have to observe over here is like her circle time is not starting early in the mornings most of the time. So depending on her period, her circle time or the morning sessions do change. But Supriya, your kids are okay morning doing a math lesson, language lesson directly like that?
Ma'am, when they go to home before that, if they'll be happy, no, next day they'll come in a happy mood, they'll work and they'll wait for that time that yes, last period we have to go to play. Last half an hour we are going to sat or play something or we'll do discuss something or sometime we'll do some craft. So they'll be happy in the morning. If I'll
That's
keep
wonderful.
everything,
Yeah. So this
I
this
have
also
that
will get a
experience.
brownie point. This will also get a brownie point because when children are going back home, recap was one. Second thing is like sending them happily is also important because when the child comes crying to the class is absolutely okay. But when they go back, they shouldn't cry.
Yes,
They have
ma'am.
to go
True.
happily. So this is absolutely good. And one way that we can keep them happy is to keep the rhyme time, dance time, circle time, whatever we have it is towards the end and send them back home. Very nice, very nice. We can always incorporate these ideas. Yeah.
And one more thing on Monday, always it should be circle time Monday morning, first
Okay.
period,
First
because
period.
Monday, Saturday and Sunday they'll enjoy at home. They are not ready to come to school, so
Come to
it was
school.
tiring
Yes.
day for them. So it will, so
Very
if they'll
precious
come
time.
and do circle time with them, no, they'll be very happy
Wonderful,
like that.
wonderful. You can definitely look into this timetable also. And now again, Shubhashree's, we have it on the tilted way itself. Let's see. Okay, so she will also have language, math, English. Okay, then again math, then Hindi. Okay. Okay, so looks like a little older class teacher, right? So they have given different subjects. Now again, if you see, there's a balance between the different subjects over there. Not many, what I could say is like not any subject is given more periods, not any subject is given less periods. So this is one thing that is actually good enough that we can actually work on. Okay, so can we all have that particular this thing? Can you all see me?